Hi there. So today's all-age talk goes alongside our worship at home material for our August summer series based on the fruit of the Spirit. 2 weeks ago at our Zoom church Saturday Night Live quiz, I did a round called Does It Float? And basically I grabbed a whole load of stuff from the household and the question was does it float? And people either had to answer if it floated or if it sunk, and they got points, obviously. And what do points make? Prizes, of course. It was a silly game, but it sparked lots of laughter and fun. And at the time, someone said that this would, surely there's a good sermon illustration in here somewhere. So I took up that challenge, and here we are. In front of me, I have a vase. A vase is filled with water. And as we know from the scriptures, water is often used to describe the Holy Spirit. It's described as living water so much in the Bible. For the Holy Spirit brings life and transformation and nourishment to all. And as we've started looking at our sermon series over this summer based on the fruit of the Spirit and how the Spirit can bear fruit in our lives as it grows godly characteristics within us like love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and self-control. But I'm not going to illustrate any of those particular characteristics today. Rather, I want to explore how as Christians we interact with the Holy Spirit. You see, some Christians are like a tennis ball. Now the tennis ball, when it goes into the water, it floats. And this represents those Christians who, for whatever reason, don't go deep with God, don't go deep in their encounter with the Holy Spirit. It's a surface level encounter, if you like. And because it's a surface level encounter, as you can see, the water doesn't really have any particular impact on the tennis ball. It hasn't changed it, hasn't transformed it, hasn't penetrated it. And that's a bit like how some Christians are with the Spirit. When it's a surface level encounter, there isn't that transformation. The other type of Christian is like a rock. Now the rock, when it goes in, it submerges in the water, dives straight into, if you like, a spiritual life. A Christian who is perhaps aware of God's presence in their lives, in their prayer life, in their worship encounters with God. And perhaps who speaks in tongues. But the problem is with a rock is it's hard on the outside and hard on the inside, and naturally resists any change that may come from the Holy Spirit. Someone who, yes, wants encounters with God, but also wants to kind of just live their life how they've always lived. And as we know from a rock that is in a river or the sea, yes, transformation does happen to that rock, but it takes a long time. And for the Christian, it can be a painful experience, God working in their lives to transform them. And the third type of Christian I want to illustrate is by using a sponge. Now, a sponge, when it goes into the water, absorbs water into its very being, and because it does that, it fulfills its purpose. It has a usefulness when it's wet to clean the dishes, to wash the car, to wipe down surfaces, whatever it may be. When the sponge is absorbed and full of water, it fulfills its purpose, what it was made and created for. And that's a bit like what it is by being a Christian. A sponge represents the Christian who is fully surrendered every part of their life to God, who is open to the Spirit's work in their whole being. And for us to be fruitful Christians, we need to welcome the Holy Spirit into our whole being, allowing every area of our lives to be impacted by the life-giving water that we read of in the scriptures. And surely that will bring about godly growth in our lives, bring about transformation that not only impacts ourselves, but impacts those around us as well. So, as Christians then, we must be open to the Holy Spirit working in our lives. Not hard like stones, not standoffish like a tennis ball, but like a sponge, absorbing into our lives the life-giving power of the Holy Spirit into our whole being, and letting God transform us, letting God guide us as we partner with him, so we can experience the fruit of God's Spirit in our lives each and every day. May God bless you abundantly. Bye for now.